Anarchy in the UK, riots, stabbing, censorship, all because of fake news. Inaccurate stories circulating on far-right websites are responsible, blaming an immigrant for the horrific acts. But it turns out he was not an immigrant. He was a second-generation immigrant. Hear about all this and more in this week's quarterly episode of Heavy Rain.
Michelle Obama is a man. Oh yeah. Her real name is Michael. She's a trans. Oh yeah. I would have thought you noticed the dick in her pants. Oh yeah. Obama's really a homo. His wife is a man. Oh yeah. They had the country fooled with it. They really had us fooled. They had the whole world fooled with it. Yeah, they had us all fooled.
Thank you. Yes, we have a wonderful show for you here today. Some very sad topics that we try to analyze, but not disrespect the victims, and yet at the same time handle this with some levity, yet also with the seriousness that the situation calls for. But first, I want to have a moment of silence for Susan Wojcicki, the head of YouTube, who is responsible for deplatforming, silencing, censoring, and giving yours truly more strikes than I can actually count. Okay, that's enough. A reminder to all authoritarians, it comes to an end, and yes, you will be held to account. If there is one consistent theme from those that have had near-death experiences and tell us what the great beyond it is like, it is the life review, where you get to sit there on high and see all of the hurt and harm you caused in your life, and you get to experience that from the other side. You get to see what that was like on the receiving end, and if that is indeed the case, Susan has a long rest in hell experiencing all that. Enjoy yourself when you get to me. Now we get on to the topic du jour, tyranny in the UK. So, what happened? A second-generation immigrant went on a stabby on a bunch of girls that were leaving a Taylor Swift dance class because they're just like us. He's a British citizen, just like us. Didn't assimilate too well yet. And people were justifiably pissed. Protests got heated, although I would personally call them mostly peaceful, and the government's response was swift and severe. Well, these immigrants receive one sort of justice, generally a slap on the wrist for the most abhorrent of crimes. The most minor of wrongthink is getting the most harshest of punishments, leading to the trending hashtag 2-tier cure. And I have to hand it to Elon Musk. He has been on the forefront of calling out this censorship. Think what you will of him, he is doing good here, and the one thing he is revealing, to the exasperation of the legacy media, is just how powerful reach is in narrative setting. It is almost like pouring wet cement into a mold. The media needs to get out in front of these issues. They need to set the framework for which it is acceptable to discuss, and then it needs to lie undisturbed, and Elon Musk is just driving a cyber truck through it. And good for him. As the saying goes, if you hate the legacy media, you don't hate them enough. And the UK government is miffed that their bid for absolute thought control is being heavily interfered with by freedom of speech. they are now cracking down. They are now cracking down not only on participating in riots, but participating in protests, but liking tweets and reposting tweets, and at this point, even watching videos of the protests is now something they are discussing punishing people for. And they have gone so far, and a few of these madmen drunk on power, to say they are going to begin extraditing and prosecuting people from other countries. One can only assume America, where we have freedom of speech, for their wrong thing, for their wrong post. And to that I say, good luck, sir. Good luck. And I would also like to extend the offer to those of you in the UK. If you have an article you want posted or corrected, or if you have something you want posted or something you need to say, you can DM it to me in Twitter. I will anonymously post it for you. I can't guarantee you reach. I can't guarantee you traction, but I can guarantee your anonymity. I will simply say, from the UK, and I will post what it is you want said. I will use my free speech so you can help reclaim your freedom. But you have to do this yourself. As one of my favorite commenters often says, no one is coming to save you from these people. And that is absolutely the truth. As you may have known, if you've been listening for any time, I've been dealing with this sort of issue. I highly recommend reading the book, Dictatorship to Democracy, if you are lazy or illiterate. I actually took the 6 hours necessary and narrated it for you. It can be found on my YouTube channel. It is a guidebook, a handbook for handling exactly this sort of situation. I will sum up what I can briefly. Basically, nonviolent noncompliance. That's basically the book. You're going to have to do this yourselves, though. You cannot be saved from an outside force or source. Oppressed populations have to free themselves because, in a very real way, at least large segments of the population want what you've got. They want it. Govern me harder, daddy. And you just can't do it from the outside. You have to develop the underground networks. You have to develop the skills necessary to resist government overreach. You have to develop the networks of people that are willing to work together. And it is mass action and mass noncompliance are really the only way you're going to get any effective change. And that has to be done from within. Protests kind of put an X on your head, but you know what works very, very well? Boycotts. You don't have to spend your money places. You don't have to look at, there was a talk, they were going to boycott all going into work. Okay, just call in sick. Hey, you got the sick time, take the day off. Everybody do that at the same time. Send a message, make their life difficult in a way that makes it very hard for them to respond. Governments are specifically prepared for dealing with violence and aggression, and all of that plays perfectly into their hands. Peaceful resistance, on the other hand, makes things very difficult. You can see this recovered conspiracy theorist, Brent Lee, who is absolutely on the side of the radical left, but even he thinks it's a little extreme for this 26-year-old that posted on social media and is being charged when he only got like 100 views and 6 likes. So Mr. Lee here says, serious question. Do you think reach of said incitement should be considered? Now, I'm not suggesting his sentence is wrong, by the way. Please don't throw me in jail. But if he got 3 years and 2 months for a tweet that only got 6 likes, what kind of a stretch are Tommy, Fox, and co. looking at? To which I said, and when they come for you, there will be no one left to say a word. Look at this conspiracy, this recovered conspiracy theorist. There are no conspiracies. Trust the government kind of guy. All of a sudden, too scared to even criticize his own government's overreach because he knows that they will come for him. Well, guess what, bud? They're going to come for you anyway because sooner or later you will become problematic. It never stops. Like, it never stops. These sort of leftist revolutions always eat themselves. And there's a reason why. I guess if you're too dumb to have it explained to you, then you get to live it firsthand. Good luck. And surely unrelated, but in the late 90s, there was a mass firearm event at a school which led to the 1997 Firearms Amendment Act. And then 20 years later, their freedom was completely gone, which makes the Uber fine that Alex Jones paid start to make a little more sense. Like, did he really commit $1 million, billion, zillion dollars worth of crime? Or at the very least is taking advantage of these events to advance a totalitarian agenda, something they really don't want to get interrupted. I report, you decide. Now, if you want a bit of a white pill on all this because it looks bad, remember that the pushback is real, and the thing they fear most is the awakening of the normie. You can see this gov.uk post where they say, "Think before you post," which got ratioed so hard they had to lock the comments. I posted gov.uk getting ratioed so hard they had to lock the comments. The ass hammering will continue until freedom is restored. And that is how we can all do our part, is push back on that. Post on these people's social media. Let them know how disgusting what they are doing is. Make them lock the comments. Repost it. Spread it around. Get as many people with eyes on this as you can possibly get. And then what are they trying to get you to do on this one? Oh, they want tourism. Oh, really? You want me to visit a third world S-hole? Screw that. You know what? Cancel your trips to the UK. Boycott them in whatever way you can. Because if you just go along with it and you say, well, I'm just going to visit, you're walking into a war zone. You have no idea what they're going to do to you. It is not safe there. They need compliance. They want everything to go along as normal with the normies while they work their machinations in the background. Don't let them. And remember, if you gave up your guns 20 years ago and now you live in a country where they throw you into the gulag for bad think, you're probably going to need to get those guns back. Well, that's all we've got for today's show, folks. Thank you for watching. We love you all in the UK. We stand with you. And in solidarity, here is a Million Pepe March.